Well, we're still on our way home from Cheyenne.
We have a story to tell.
We have a story to tell because back there, fun stuff happened.
Oh, was it fun?
Last week, if you recall, we talked about the big boy and we checked out the progress on the big boy.
Yes.
And was that amazing or was that amazing?
I was astounded how big that boiler is.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
There's a reason why that's the world's largest steam locomotive.
Yes.
And it's bigger now because it's spread from one end of the building to the other.
It is.
But it's still just massive. Well, anyway, we're still there, and we're not. We're going home, of course. The show is still there. And we wanted to show you the rest of the roundhouse and shops and everything.
Right.
Because holy crap, it's just so amazing.
Oh, I'm kidding.
They actually have 5 steam locomotives.
Yes, they do.
Currently, only one of them, 844, runs.
Which is like an old
A couple months ago, none of them ran.
Right.
But they've got 844 all restored. We're going to take a look at that.
Yes.
And they're working on the big boy now, and that'll be the next one finished, hopefully now in the next couple of years.
Yes.
The big boy will be running. Holy crap. And then they're going to get back onto the Challenger 3985,
Right.
and that one will be running again. Now they've got 2 other steam engines here, a decapod, which they're not planning to get running, but that is one huge locomotive.
Yes, it is.
And then they've got another Northern, exactly the same as 844, except it's
Right.
missing so many parts because they keep stealing parts off of it to use on 844. That's it. It's the parts car.
Robbing Peter
Yeah.
to pay Paul.
But it's all there, and they're actually keeping parts and stuff that they take off 844. So they've got
Right.
they got a whole locomotive. It's just sort of in a dismantled state, and they're not planning to restore it or anything.
Right.
It's their parts department for 844.
Oh, geez.
But it's neat to see that too.
It is.
And they've got diesel engines.
Yes.
They've got a Centennial,
Yes.
world's largest diesel locomotive.
Right.
And they've got E-units,
Wow.
3 E-units, and a little switch engine and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But they've got a roundhouse and a back shops, and so we're just going to show you all these great facilities here. How cool is that?
Right.
Check this out, the roundhouse and shops in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Well, we're still here in Cheyenne for Depot Days, and we're still over here at the Union Pacific shops hanging out where they're restoring the big boy. This is, of course, Union Pacific 844, the big, huge Northern that they just finished the rebuild on. It was really fun to see it parked in its spot. Now, when we got here, this whole area down here was full of water from the big storm that we came through, but they've got it all pumped out now and everything's back to normal. So all of the really hard work goes on in this building, the old back shops building. They don't do any work over in the roundhouse. They just kind of park the locomotives over there when they're not being worked on. 844 principally just lives here in the back shops building because, well, they use it all the time. So we, of course, just got back from chasing 844 through Idaho. That was a lot of fun. We had a ball on that trip. And it was neat to get back to the engine and see it just sort of parked here in the shops after chasing it around. Well, back in the day, this particular back shop was probably the heaviest back shop Union Pacific had. It's where they worked on the big boy, for crying out loud. And it's where they're restoring the big boy, so that makes a good deal of sense. It's good that they have a facility that can actually work on this massive engine. And there's a bunch of other stuff around here. These are the auxiliary water cars. They have, I think, 2 of these. There's actually quite a few of them around here that are in deplorable state. They're actually tenders off the old turbine units, and they use them as auxiliary water cars. There's quite a few passenger cars around here. Union Pacific actually has over 100 passenger cars in the heritage fleet. They mostly live in Omaha, but a couple of them stay here in Cheyenne. They also have a lot of passenger cars that they use as service cars when the steam engines go out. Takes a lot of equipment to keep a steam engine running, and there are no facilities left out on the railroad, so they have to take everything with them. This is the machine shop. This is the boiler. You take steam to make steam. They have to fire this up to build up enough steam to start the steam engines. This is their electricity. This is a big electrical generator. And they have a full set of dormitories in here for the crew. They also have a whole bunch of just stuff. They attract such huge crowds. They have to have railings and platforms and just ways of dealing with thousands of people that show up to see the trains. And this is their water treatment system, and this is Ed Dickens. He's going to explain to you in an upcoming show why they treat all the water for the steam engines here. And this is cool, but it's not part of the heritage fleet. It's their rotary snow plow. This is used all the time. Now, while all of the heavy work was done in the back shops, back in the day, most of the work was done in the roundhouse. And as you can see, there was one giant facility here in Cheyenne capable of dealing with these huge, huge locomotives. So let's trundle on over to the roundhouse and see what's going on. They have 5 diesel locomotives here. This is one of them, a 6900 class, a Centennial class. These were built in 1969 for the Union Pacific. They were the largest diesel locomotives ever constructed. There's several of them around in museums, but as far as I know, this is the only one that still operates. They fire it up once a year just to demonstrate how the thing works, but what a massive, massive locomotive. It's actually effectively 2 diesel engines hooked together on one frame. It's got 2 engines, 2 generators, pretty much 2 of everything just built into one gigantic locomotive. And if you think fuel is expensive these days, try filling that gas tank. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And my favorite diesels here are the E units. They've got 2 A's and a B, and they run those around lashed up together, all 3 units. The old streamliners. That's what I grew up with. To me, that's what a diesel engine is supposed to look like. I love that stuff. One of the fun things about chasing the E units around is almost nobody does. You kind of have the whole train chase all to yourself when you go out to chase the E units around, but to me, that's just as much fun as chasing the steam engines around. Look at that beautiful thing. It's sure fun seeing them here in Cheyenne. It's fun chasing them around, but it's also fun just to see them in their normal living space. And this monster is the Challenger. This thing's almost as big as the Big Boy, just a little bit smaller. Isn't it magnificent?
It's really cool.
It's just incredible. It ran back in the 1990s. A group of UP employees restored it, but now it's in need of some major work. It was magnificent to see that back when it was operating, and it will be back on the track once the Big Boy is running. Then this is next in line for a complete rebuild, and then we'll be seeing it back out on the tracks again. That'll be great. I noticed that the tender is over in the back shops building with the other locomotives. They've actually got 4 tenders because 4 of these engines all use the exact same tender. And this is 5511. It's a big engine. Earlier I said it was a decapod, and it's really not. It's a 210-2, which is almost a decapod. But look at this interesting valve gear here. Very, very rare. They're not intending to restore this. They acquired it because it was being used as a stationary boiler at the Roundhouse in Ogden, and then it just ended up over here, and they're really not quite sure what they want to do with it. Union Pacific had some of these 5-axle locomotives. They even had some 6-axle locomotives, but with that many axles on a rigid frame, well, they can't really go around much of a corner, so they were useless on hills, and they were stuck out on the prairie. And the 5th engine is kind of a sad case here. It's a twin, actually, to 844. It's 833. And, well, it's their parts car. Whenever they need something for 844, they come over here and steal it. And there's this rather intriguing passenger car. Well, I had a ball. Did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. It was a fun one.
It's a really good train show.
It is.
You know, it'd be a good train show even without the Union Pacific shops and the Wasatch guys. So we're actually going to come back and do another show here in a couple of weeks just on the train show part of this, because that was a really good train show. Depot Days in Cheyenne, held right here in the depot, so that's very appropriate. It kind of spills over because it's too big to fit in the depot, but well, we'll take you out there and show it to you in a couple of weeks. So that's the Roundhouse.
Isn't that neat?
Is that?
Reminds me of the one in Evanston a little bit.
It's very similar. It's bigger in that it's the stalls are deeper. It's designed for bigger locomotives.
Exactly.
It's smaller in that most of it's been torn down.
As a lot of them have been.
As a lot of them have been. They kept just enough to house the collection that they currently have, which is
marvelous.
It's just really neat that that exists, but it's just a shadow of its former self, which is a little bit unfortunate, but what's not unfortunate is, hey, it's still there.
It's still there.
And that's so amazing. And then the back shops building, which is so critical to the steam program for the Union Pacific. And that's where the hard work really goes on, is in the back shops building. The Roundhouse being more where they keep things when they just need a place to keep things. So that was really cool. That was really, really cool. Just amazing, and how nice of them to let us wander about and kind of get back behind the scenes on some of this stuff, and not just the parts that are open to the public. So this has just been a lot of fun. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, you want to pop on over to the channel. At the channel is last week's show on the Big Boy, plus some 199, 200 what other movies on all kinds of other things. All the movies on Moving the Big Boy, and a bunch of some of the runs of the 844 when they first finished the restoration, and they took it up to Boise, actually, is where they took it to open a depot or do a thing up there for a train show. There's just neat stuff, neat stuff, and you want to look at all that stuff while you're over at the channel. Now, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, the way you subscribe to the channel is to click on the blue button. Are you ready for this? Zoink! You see this? You might not see it. There's a blue button right here that says subscribe, but if you're watching on your cell phone or your tablet or something, right here, subscribe. You see that? Click on that. That will make you a subscriber and take you to the channel. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will still be here in Cheyenne next week, so check that out. See you then. Bye-bye.